keep on making. Yes, you keep on making. Make it alright. You keep on making. Yes, you keep on making. Make it alright. Hey, y'all. Happy Monday. I'm glad to see y'all in the building. As you come in the building, don't forget, hit the like button. So, today we're doing something a little bit different. We normally have either we're recapping some reality show or we're doing trending topics. But today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to interview one of the brothers from someone who lost their life on that unfaithful night back in 1991 at City College in Harlem. So the brother of one of the individuals, and his name is Dirk, who lost his life. He's going to come and he's going to chat with us tonight about, his brother, the legacy, the loss, and the projects that he currently has in the works, that we can all go ahead and support him with these particular projects. Now, as I wait for him to come into the building, I'm going to give everybody just a little bit of a background story so y'all can kind of understand who he is and who we're about to hear from. So hold on one second, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and share a screen with y'all. Okay, wait a minute. Let me just get this together here. So we got Karma finally catching up to Diddy. Decades after the fatal stampede at New York City game he promoted, says victim's brother. So this is one of the family members of someone who unfortunately lost their life on that unfaithful day. So let's just listen to this together. So there's no way out. The haunted brother of a 20-year-old college student who died during a stampede at a Diddy back 1991. Let me just pause this so we won't have that playing in the background. Okay, let me just go back. So the haunted brother of a 20-year-old college student who died during a stampede at a Diddy back 1991 celebrity basketball game believes karma is catching up to Diddy. Jason, sibling Dirk, was one of the 9 people who were crushed to death after a crowd rushed to enter the oversold event inside a City College gymnasium. I believe in karma, Jason said. He's now 49. He told the Post. He never really owned up to anything. He never told us he was sorry. Whatever is going on with him now, I guess it is meant to be. But me, I lost everything that day. I lost my big brother. I lost my best friend. Diddy 54, as we all know, is under federal investigation over potential ST charges, and his houses in Miami and Los Angeles were raided last week by officers from Homeland Security looking to seize evidence. He has not been charged with any wrongdoing and has denied previous allegations of misconduct leveled against him. Now, that's who we're going to be speaking with tonight. This is Jason, and he's holding a picture of his brother who unfortunately lost his life during that game back in 1991 at City College in Harlem. So Jason, who made a documentary on the disaster, has worked tirelessly to keep his siblings' memory alive. Said he blamed many people for the tragedy, in addition to Diddy, including all of the attendees and the police, because there was, attendees who they oversold the place, right? And then, I mean, many of you may know this story. There was attendees who just stampede and just rushed in the place just to get in, and they were reckless too towards individuals in their lives. The event was an early promotion of the then known music industry figure known at the time as Sean Puffy Combs, who would later flourish as the brash impersonal behind Bad Boy Records. The game featured a lineup of major hip hop names from the era, including Big Daddy Kane and Lover, members of Run DMC, and Bell Big DeVoe, Michael Bivins, Mike Tyson, and LL Cool J also made appearances. So this thing was star-studded, right? And for all of those big names to be there, they should have had proper security. They should have not oversold the tickets. And it had a lot to do with some greed too, right? But in Harlem, which drew headlines around the world, would nearly end Diddy's career before it began. Uptown Records, his label at the time, fired him due to the public backlash over the Stampede. It was his first bad decision, Jason said, of his handling of the event. Former Diddy bodyguard Gene Dill was present at the game and said his boss was distraught after the firing. We put him on S Watch, Dill said on Valad TV. I think he was on S Watch because he thought he lost everything. No criminal charges were ever brought following the tragic event. A New York judge ruling on a civil case brought in relation to it would eventually pin partial blame for the tragedy on Combs, asserting that he didn't properly organize the event and was negligent in failing to provide adequate security. The college was also found liable. So that's the two there, brothers, looking alike. So victim family said at the time that Combs resisted accountability and never properly apologized to them. Jason's late mother, Barbara, told media outlets well after the incident that she longed for Diddy to take some responsibility for the debacle that claimed her son. I want Sean to step up to the plate and say, I made a mistake, she told the Daily News in 1998. I shouldn't have done this. Bronx-born Sharice Miles was just 21 when she purchased a ticket to the extravaganza and is silently boarded a subway train to City College. And that's, pictures of the aftermath, very sad. So as I stated earlier, unfortunately, 9 people lost their life because people were rushing the door to enter to this celebrity game, right? And I think the school too, I don't know if they just didn't know the magnitude of what type of event they was throwing and all the big names that was going to be there and what problems that it could have potentially caused, right? And it did cause. Recalling the incident for the first time in more than 3 decades, Miles, who now lives in Georgia, said the horrors of that day still plague her. We were just chest to chest for hours, she said of the attendees awaiting for an opportunity to enter the gym. We would move a few steps an hour. Miles says she was one of the lucky ones who eventually made it inside the packed venue as artists from Boyz II Men and Jodeci ran up and down the court. At one point, there was a rush inside, she said, and that's when you just saw bodies dropping. People were getting trampled. It was chaos. Miles says she saw Diddy pass by her as the tragedy unfolded, and that he seemed less concerned by the unfolding, chaos that was going on than securing the day to take back and beating a hasty retreat. So they're pretty much saying that he got the safety and had no regard to the individuals that were being trampled on and losing their life at the time. A judge laid blame on event organizers as well as city college administrators. He walked right past me. This is what another young lady that, she fortunately she lived. She's recalling the events herself, right? So she said he walked right past me after there was just this big rush into the gym. He was with Devontae Adams from Jodeci, she said, and he didn't seem concerned about what was going on. He just wanted to get his stuff and get out of there. I never got the sense of remorse or accountability, just like, let me get my stuff and get out. Miles said her mind wandered back to those scenes as reports of Diddy legal trouble spiraled in recent weeks. Once the crowd rushed through, they didn't give a crap about us, she said. I think his past deeds are coming back to him. I can't say I am surprised. Diddy later weathered the City College controversy and went on to superstardom after he established Bad Boy Records. He addressed the incident in 1998 during a court hearing on the case, well after he had established himself as an industry giant. City College is something I deal with every day of my life, he said, according to the New York Times. But the things that I deal with can in no way measure up to the pain that the families deal with. I just pray for the families and pray for the children who lost their lives every day. Diddy paid out several settlements related to the case, ending with a final payment in 2000 that closed the legal book on the City College Stampede. But Jason told the Post that events of that day and memories of his brother are incredibly branded in his memory. He said, I miss him to this day. So listen, guys, I just wanted to bring you up to date. To give you an idea of who we're going to be speaking with today. May Dirk rest in peace. May all of the people that lost their lives that day rest in peace. And I really do hope that City College made a whole lot of changes as a result of that unfortunate day that happened. All right. So with further ado, guys, I want y'all to give a warm welcome to our guest today, Jason, who is going to come here to tell us about, the life, the legacy, and all that he is doing to keep the memory of his brother alive. So I'm going to welcome Jason into the building. Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great, great, great. All right, I can hear you all as well. Thank you for stopping by our channel and talking to us today. Much appreciated. Totally appreciate you coming here. And my condolences to your brother. And I see that also. I believe I read that your mother has passed also.
Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, my mother and my father are gone. So it's just me left. And it's okay. I'm still breathing so I can, um, continue the legacy because my mother was going hard. Like she wasn't mad at anyone,
Okay.
but she just really made sure that it wasn't forgotten, and she was really at a lot of the memorials, and the City College 9 name came from her and the mothers of all the people who died. So
Wow.
they made up that name.
Nice.
But
Beautiful. All right.
very positive woman. She said, "No, Jason, stop being mad. No one woke up that day and said, I'm gonna kill 9 people. I'm just gonna wipe them out." She said that to me. And then from that point on, I was like, you're right.
Well, thank God, right? God bless her soul. So, Jason, just tell us a little bit about your brother, and just that whole time period and when you heard about what happened.
Okay, Dirk was going to Hampton University in Virginia. And it was weird because he really never got in trouble or anything. And we grew up in the Bronx, and he went there, and there was a fight after a football game at Hampton, and he got shot in the head. Yeah, he got shot in the head 3 months and 1 week before City College.
Mm.
So it was a stray bullet, or maybe it was someone who wanted to do it. We still don't know to this day. Um, but he was came home to recuperate. So as you probably can understand, that That was weird for a person that leaves the Bronx to go to, and Hampton's not like, how a lot of HBCUs are in the middle of the hood and stuff like
Mhm.
that. It's a beautiful campus. It's no need for all that crazy, outsiders coming on campus and, doing that type of stuff. But, that's what happened. And so it was like, whew, yo, he made it through this. He was a junior in college, and I looked up to him. I was in high school in my last year,
Mhm.
doing an executive internship at New York Life on Park Avenue. So I was on my way to do what I was supposed to be doing in life, working in the movie theater, and I got the call from my mother that Dirk got shot. I was like, "What? Are you crazy?" Like, if anything, I was more of the wild card between us. Like, I would probably get into more trouble than him. Um,
Okay.
Even though he could fight and stuff, like I was the talker and he was the finisher, but he was not the person that you would even believe would be the one to get shot at college.
Right.
I mean, but who is really the person? But yeah, he got shot, and he came home, and they took a piece of his skull out, so he didn't have peripheral vision on his right side.
Mm.
So those 3 months were like a real um it was a time that we all got really close to him and talked to him, and um it was just weird. He was the older brother, but he was bugging out because everyone was didn't really want him to go back, but he knew he had to go back to school, and he was preparing to go. And a few weeks before that, he said, "Jay, I want to go back, but the thing is, I don't really know who shot me.
Mm.
I'm in the same room with that person. If I go back, that person could be in the classroom with me." So he mentioned that. So he had a lot of reservations, but he was trying to just mask that really in front of family and friends. And but I knew it because it was like a nighttime thing. We were laying in the bed, our twin beds, him and his and mine, and I remember I dropped a tear just hearing that. 'Cause that's my big brother, my hero. And he mentioned that to me. He hadn't mentioned it to anyone else. And 2 weeks later, his girlfriend gave him the ticket to City College.
Mm.
And it was, if you remember those times, it was all over the radio.
Yes, it was.
And like, it was the place to be. It
Yes, it
was
was.
without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gone a week before for Tuffy from Video Music Box. I
Okay.
had gone to his event, and it was crowded anyway. Like, people, I think I even heard one of the doors break. But if I think back to like the '80s when New Edition was there, we all went. My brother and my family, my mother, my aunt, and it was the same type of activity. It was no real crowd support or control, and it was just open the door, pull 10 people in, close the door. You
Mm.
know, outside the lines, it was just whatever. It was never really organized. I don't recall that, and people have quoted me about that because of those games. They were the best, really. When the winter time, it was like the winter Rucker games, but it was City College.
Right.
They had a lot of high schools that used to come there to play the PSAL. I think that's what they called it. It's a couple. I remember seeing a lot of great high school players. So Dirk played high school all through. He played all 4 years and 2 years in junior high, and he rapped. I have his tapes. So that event was all about him. He was all about that,
Mm-hmm.
music and basketball. He taped college games. So when he got the ticket, even with my reservations about the week before, because I remember me and my friends were outside, and I had some new sneakers on, or boots, one of the, and I was like, I'm not messing up my kicks. I was 17. I was 17 years old, and I told Dirk, I said, "Yo, man, it's crazy," and he was told kind of by the doctors, since he had that hole in the back of his head, to kind of stay away from, like, events like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Dirk, you couldn't tell him that. He was going. He was gonna go. He got the ticket, and he was the older brother. Like, why would he listen to me? I'm Big Dirk. He was a skinny dude, tall, skinny dude, but he's like, yo, I got this. And he I told him I had gotten in trouble Christmas Day. I was hanging with my friends, and Dirk fell asleep, and he put the top lock on. My father put the top lock on the door, and I couldn't get in. So my father woke my father up. We were raised by my dad, primarily from the age of 10. I was 10, and my mother and father broke up. It wasn't any. She didn't leave us, but he was our primary guardian, or whatever you call it. So he told me to be in that weekend. I couldn't go to City College because of whatever I did. Um, and Dirk begged me, and he knew we didn't really listen to my dad on the weekend, especially. He wasn't even gonna be home, so he said, "Come on, let's go." And
Okay.
I took too long to get ready, and
Mm-hmm.
my friend Chop, who was with him, he's in my documentary. He said Dirk was waiting, and then Dirk said that I was BSing. I was
Mm-hmm.
taking too long, and the way we all looked at it on a spiritual way, Dirk was on a mission. He was out of here. His calling was to go to that event. He had called maybe 10 of his friends. He's like, yo, it's my first time going out. Yo, y'all gonna be at City College. You're gonna be at City College. He was just creating, his crew from college stuff. And they all got there because I interviewed them. Um, and he left me, and I ended up trying to go down there. And then, the news and everything started happening, of things, what happened. And I didn't know, but my mother got in touch with mutual friends. Actually, I worked in the movie theater, and she called there and said, do not let Jason find out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Get whatever you do. So everybody was all in our neighborhood looking for me. And I got off the train, and everybody was super sad. And I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong with y'all? And that's when we found out about Dirk being, I think they said he was the first to go.
Oh,
You know, he was crushed, and for many years that didn't make sense to me, and a lot of people, like, no one really knew what really happened.
right.
He survived the bullet, so what is this?
Yeah.
And then that was it. Dirk was, he was gone. He was gone. And but it took me years to really figure out and understand, bothering people that were there, celebrities. If I bumped into them, I was asking questions. uh,
Wow.
might have been drinking in the club. I was about 18, 19. I was getting older and older. um the puffy music, the bad boy was hot, and I'm in the club, and then I'll see Sean. That's how my mother would call it. She never called him Puff Daddy. See Sean, and I'll be like, Dirk Swain. My brother was Dirk, you know, And I think I said that because I just wanted to know what happened. I used to just step to him and everyone, even though I was going to college and doing things, I never took that off my mind from the age 17 because I graduated three to 4 days after Dirk died. I had to go to high school. I had to go back to school.
Wow.
So it was like, what else do I think about? You know, it's the person
Mhm.
with my only sibling. So I gotta just say, I was on a mission for like just to understand. And this dude, like I had met Sean at the memorial, and he's like shorter than me, and he's like little dude, and I'm like, yo, who is Puff Daddy? No one knew who he was.
Right.
So, and I'm a teenager, I didn't get the lesson from my mother yet. It's like chill out.
Right.
And I'm so glad I did because it's just logical. No one wanted to kill those people. But I was going at it in a negative way, I'll say, for during the 90s. I just wanted to know how all of those people died. So that became my journey. I went to college to learn film. I worked in the movie theater, so that was already in my blood. I went
Right.
to movies, and it excuse me, it turned into like the pain and the sorrow turned into a mission. It turned into like no more tears.
Right.
Like, let's figure this out. Like,
Mhm.
going on with this, and we would have the memorial every year. We would hear people so mad and so angry, and I was one of them at first, but then I just started bringing the camera and interviewing them, the families. I've spoken to all 9 of the families, of course mine, um, and just got the last moments every kid that was there, what their life was like in New York. Like, who are they? Didn't even know. I was like the what do you call it? Like a bootleg investigative journalist. Just question. I have VHS tapes of interviews that I did back in the days, and it never went anywhere. It was like, um, and then I would bump into to Sean or anyone that was on that flyer. If I see them, I'm immediately going after them to ask questions. Or can I talk to you for a minute? And no one want, no one wanted to tell me or help me or show me the way. It was no YouTube or nothing back then. So I was kind of confused for a little while, and then I got more educated about the situation and even how to produce a project. You got to bring the business, get at their handlers, do it a different way. And then I decided to start the Dirk Swain Foundation. And
Nice.
from that point on, like, I reversed the negative completely. I did a film that got me a scholarship at Clark Atlanta University that was kind of like the project. It was a kid that leaves New York because someone died, only to be faced with the same type of drama on a college campus.
Yeah.
So, and but it was really talking about City College
Got-
and everything. It was always about something had to do with this confusion that not just me, but a lot of people, we did not understand um, what happened, or we also didn't understand why it was tucked under the rug. There was never a moment of silence. There was never anything done to commemorate or to just say sorry. This
Yeah.
happened to these people, and a lot of people were hurt too. They were crushed, and one of my cousins saw Dirk
Mm.
just walking by, and she saw our friends, and then a lot of the newspaper articles, she's on the front page being
Wow.
pushed away, but they didn't know that she didn't even get crushed in the crowd. She saw Dirk because we were all together on Christmas Day. and then that was the second time. That was the second time seeing him during the holiday since Christmas. So it was devastating, and it was a big mystery. It didn't really anyone that was around during that time, they couldn't really pinpoint how these people really died. It was um no one was trying to say, listen, I oversold this thing.
Right.
I did this was wrong, because we found out later it was sold out a week before.
Mm.
There was no AIDS foundation, it was supposed to be for AIDS thing.
Mm.
That's why a lot of us were going, because if you recall, during that time, that was like killing everybody. So
Yes, it was.
we wanted to support, regardless of what people say. That was what the event was about. Um, you know, and it was, the AIDS foundations of America said they would never put their name on anything like that, and they weren't even contacted.
Mm.
So it was a scam.
Wow. So I know so you saying that your mom found out via the news first that this happened at City College, that there was a tragedy or something was going on and people have lost their lives?
Yeah, no one called my mother, the police, no one called my family at all. And she I was lucky to not have been home. There was no, cell phone stuff.
Right.
Like, you watch the news when you get home. Like,
Yep.
there's no, alert coming to your phone through Instagram or something. So I was getting off the train with my homeboy, and we were kind of mad because they left us. They went to City College. We couldn't wait to, like, yell at them at Chop. That's the guy that was with Dirk, and Carlos. We still haven't seen him pretty much since then. And
Really?
together, he's in the video, like, laying over Dirk with his listening to his heart, because they pulled the sheet over him, and
Hmm.
you see him. And this is before social media, so
Right.
they don't know they're being videotaped.
Mm.
Real reality. They're sitting there like, they just pulled this sheet over Dirk, and these guys grew up with Dirk since they were really young.
Gotcha.
So to see, and then it was like a mini triage in there, but there's a bunch of kids who don't know how to do CPR. So, like, everyone, these people are dying, and it's nothing you can do. The cops didn't come help. They didn't call my mother. They didn't call anyone. You just had to find out through, if you were at home and the news popped up. Dirk, Dirk went there, and then, oh, no, let me rewind. Dirk's girlfriend called the movie theater, and then people from the movie theater called my mother,
Mm.
because she said they pulled the sheet over Dirk. She didn't say he was dead. She said they pulled the sheet over him,
Mm.
and yeah, and that was, and my mother called, when they finally got me, she called me and said, Dirk's gone. They, you know, Dirk's gone. And I said, whoa, like, anyone that was around during those days, it was a weird energy anyway, like, bum rushing the door and all of that stuff. And so there wasn't one person that was, and I said that in many articles, that were the cause of this crazy event. It was
Right.
like the situation, just a lot of mistakes.
Hmm. Yeah. So you said that every year, is it to this day that they have a memorial, they have a service, so to speak?
Yes,
Oh, they do.
yes, yep.
Okay.
Every year, City College allows us to go into the corridor where they all died, and I think they still give flowers. They will give like a wreath or something, and they have a plaque on the wall.
Okay.
right outside the gym. I'm right outside the entrance of that building. And we all have, I have plaques as well. I have a plaque. Um, but yeah, City College, they were very helpful. They knew it was a mistake. So over the years, they never like said, leave us alone or anything. It was a big mistake.
Right.
There was no student government should have been approved to do this event because it was $1,200 event that they supposedly made close to 60,000 or something to that extent.
Mm.
And there's no way you could make that much.
Right. Right. And not oversell it. And
Yeah.
not oversell it. Absolutely. So the other individuals, because it was 9 altogether that lost their life. Do y'all still, like, as you said, you interviewed the families? What was that like?
Um, it was sad. A lot of people were mad. And it's unfortunate. I don't know if anyone's still alive because the memorials got really empty. It's just the kid
Oh,
and the siblings and then the cousins, I guess. And Miss McCain might still be here, and I don't know where Mr. Um, Nelson. He lost his wife and his son, not at that event, but over the years.
okay.
After his wife passed, he kind of stopped coming to the memorial. That was their only child as well. So
Wow.
he was from the Bronx. But other than that, it's just Sonny Williams, um, Sonia's brother. I don't go as much as I used to either. I was living in California for 16 years, and I
Okay.
came back when my mother got sick. So I would fly up. I've been to the majority of them, but I definitely the last 10 years it's been spotty. Like I will do that, but I would in the early days I would set up a day to interview everyone that's there, and we would I have even people who are on the 911 tape.
Mm.
I interviewed them on the steps. That's they're in the documentary. Um, I've we have some siblings. We have Darren Taylor. His mother was pregnant with him, and Darren didn't meet him yet. He didn't even know she was pregnant. I think
Wow.
she was there that night,
Okay.
so he never got to meet his father. But he emailed me, and he's an adult, you
Yeah.
know, and he saw a picture of his father. His mother saw the picture and sent them to me. So that was crazy. We're still looking. Sharice Ann Noel is, I don't know where her family is. I think she was from Brooklyn. Um, I didn't really get a lot of information on her. She was just passing her nursing board, and she had a 6-year old
Wow.
at that time. So
Mm.
it would be awesome to see where she is. Darren had a 16 year old, no, excuse me, a 16-month-old baby, and her mother passed away at childbirth, and then she loses him at City College.
Wow.
So her name is Brittany Brown. Um, yeah, so everyone has a story. Jabel Rainey, he was 15. He was the youngest out of everyone. He was from Harlem, and I think his sister said he didn't really even want to go.
Mm.
She kind of dragged him out, like you playing these games, video games. I think it was like, the first games, probably Atari or something.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, it's a lot. So I know that you said you have a documentary. That do you have one out already? Want to talk about the projects that you have worked on and that you are working on?
Okay. Yeah, there's a documentary I did. It's on Vimeo on demand. It's I've been getting a lot of hits lately, but it's been up since 2020,
Okay.
and it's only 58 minutes. It's part one, and I was in the process of starting part two, which is going to be more of the celebrities. Um, it's going to be just the people who are playing, and I want to get their input on it, and who there were a couple of celebrities that were in the staircase,
Mm,
and they lost three people,
mm,
the people that they were with. That's the rap group Nice and Smooth. So there's so many layers to this thing, because with with the documentary you'll understand more about how it really happened, what really caused this confusion of we're getting in no matter what, because the doors were it was just a weird structure of that gym,
mm-hmm.
and that's what did it. And a lot of it was, I gotta say, it was us. Um, we overbooked. The promoters may have overbooked it, but they asked for help. They called the cops. There were 13 calls. The
Oh,
cops weren't. Yeah, I have all the 911 tapes. There were 13 calls of these kids sounding very intelligent and understand. There was no yo B, come get this. No, they're like, someone's dying. We need help. Like
wow.
this, that 13 calls, and the cops were driving by telling people to get on the sidewalk, and when they should have just shut the whole thing down
Yeah.
because they bent a light post. The crowd bent a light post. That's how powerful the crowd was outside.
Wow.
Um, but there were people with tickets still outside. So the mentality is, I'm getting in.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah,
Buy my ticket. Mm-hmm.
in. And then you're gonna have this security dude, like whoever is like on camera now. I mean, doing all these interviews. I wouldn't even bring up like you're a security guard, because that thing should have been shut down. You go outside and tell people who have tickets in New York City that it's over. You can't get in.
Right.
That's not happening. And
Yeah.
in everyone's home from college or whatever. It's just a beautiful time. It wasn't that cold, and they so yeah, what I was really getting at was there was so many layers. We as my age range that were standing outside didn't understand why I'm standing here and I have a ticket. And then the freebies, they want to just rush. Because I have a few friends. One of the guys that was with Dirk, he didn't have a ticket,
Mm,
and he got in. Like it was so unorganized. And then, okay, the layers, it's the cops, it's the kids, it's the promoters, and it's also who approved this to happen. You got 98.7 kids. There's no more of them because they were sending people down there. They were on the radio pumping it up,
yeah.
and that's why we were still going. And they
Mm,
were sold out. They had been sold out. They said the crowd formed at 4 p.m. So and people started dying. Dirk was pronounced dead at 7:50. So yeah, it was layers. So yeah,
yeah.
I'll bring it
So
up
what,
again.
what did they say? They said he was just crushed to death?
They were doing CPR on him, and his chest was going to the floor. So his lungs were completely crushed. And then they said like 30 people did CPR, so they probably just ruptured that. Trying to help, it's
Right.
nothing. We're trying to help, but like I have for my job, I had to learn CPR and stuff, and there's a way to do it, you know. But um, yeah, if all of this, and I believe everyone that passed away from asphyxia, that same thing was happening. Their chests were completely crushed.
Mm.
So my friend said when the crowd came in, they jumped up, and Dirk didn't catch it quick enough,
Oh.
so his whole chest was covered, and then they could hear him being smothered, like that sound, ooh, or whatever. And they said in that quiet staircase, which I have a project about, you could hear the lungs crushing. You could hear people like just this weird noise because
Wow.
they're pushing. There were kids at the top. Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this, and you'll see it in the documentary. It's on Vimeo on demand, and I'm trying to do another one. Plus, I did a project called Six Train in Parkchester. It's a series, and it kind of starts in 1986.
Mm.
It's up to 91 to this event, but it's kind of showing these kids growing up in Parkchester, really good part of the Bronx, and hip hop, graffiti, all type of good stuff. And but I think, well, the log line is two brothers from the Bronx could overcome every obstacle there is, but faith, but faith.
Mm. Right.
So it's gonna happen. You can try to block anything, but if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. And then the aftermath. And we did a episode called No Way Out, and that's the episode of City College. It's 3 months. It's right after Dirk gets shot, and he comes home, and you see this metamorphosis he's going through, and then trying to figure out if he really wants to go back to school. So I wrote that during the pandemic. We shot it a couple years later, and now I'm pitching it and trying to get it out. Um, but I wrote a short that did a lot of festivals in '05 called City Jewels.
Okay.
Uh, the documentary is also called No Way Out, the City College of New York Stampede. Um, I did a stage play in California. I lived in California a long time, so did a stage play out there, and I always have at least one character that was at City College. You know,
Okay.
I told Sonia's story in that play.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I just had to do that stuff. Like I was like, no matter what, I may not even have known all of, back in '03, I may not have even known um, everything that really happened,
Hmm.
but I was still trying to keep it out there, you know.
Keep your brother's memory alive. So, when you gotta, I'm gonna put the description and where they can find your work at. I'll put it in the description of this video so everybody can go and support. And I know you said your mom was a huge help in helping you transition from the anger into more of an understanding. There's a lot of people, because we all go through life is life, and right. That has something happen where they kind of need to get through that anger. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, of like how finally like it clicked in you what your mother was trying to say to you?
Yeah, it's no one. First of all, with this situation, what she did was make me really stop and think, because I was going with the crowd pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
and the crowd was, and I don't blame them, was a lot of the families, and our attorney, and um, they kind of ran, like helped out with the actual court case stuff, and they were just logical. you know they were found liable, but it was just an unfortunate situation. So once I realized that, and I realized um, this movie that I've been trying to do since '92.
Mm.
I learned how to write scripts. didn't seem like, I'm saying this before there was YouTube. Like you really had to go get an agent and knock on doors and
Yep.
go to the studio to produce like what you're doing right now.
Hmm.
We weren't doing this in
Facts.
'92, right?
Right. Right.
So I was trying to figure out an outlet. Like that was so important to me to keep it going. My mother would say, "You just want people to know that you're hurting." I know how you are, Jason. That, and the things that she would tell me made me understand that there's a bigger picture. Someone else could see this, and even a promoter. Um,
Hmm.
you have to really be conscious of how many people are coming to your event and where. Like I did a whole educational documentary version of it in like 2006,
Hmm.
and I was like, so there were certain schools, and I think it was SCAD or a couple of schools in Georgia used it, um, to just give you that input, and instead of just trying to point fingers at everyone, because there are some mistakes people make, but I don't. Even with the stuff that's going on with this guy now with Sean Combs,
Hmm.
people are hitting me up, but to me, it's still about the kids. Let's bring them up and put them out there.
Yeah.
Like the other interview I did with New York Post, I didn't blame him. I said there were a lot. There were 10.
They change.
My
Yeah.
mom too. She said there were 10 defendants.
Yeah.
Jason, just keep it that way. It was 10 defendants.
Right.
So
Right.
it was the city. It was City College. It was the new, NYPD, the security companies. I think even EMS, which is part of the city. Of course, the promoters. And yeah, so she said there was 10 defendants. So to like even answer your question even deeper, it didn't make sense to be mad at the world
Right.
about this. Let's create something um, that's positive that you could take away from it in a sense. And maybe it's my age too, like growing up, getting more mature about things, but also just being logical. Because it could have been any of us
Hmm.
promoting that event. It could have been me at 17 thinking I had this great idea. Let's
Hmm.
fake it. Let's do, and then we'll pay the AIDS Foundation later. But like, yo, put that on there, and there's certain things we all make mistakes.
Right.
So I don't like, especially in this day and age, I don't want to come off mad at anyone, angry at with anyone. It's just what happens. But I do want to put my stuff out. We did a foundation where we taught teens film and TV production for over 11 years. We have we had the Young Oscar Awards that Dirk Swain Foundation did with
Right.
my mother. We did that in LA and Hollywood. Um, I've been to Cannes. We showed it in France. So there's people all over the world that know about this event, but not just about the promoters,
And
not
know
just.
about the people, the 9 lives, and the other people that got hurt.
Yeah,
I I really like your approach. But more importantly, I like the way that you have transitioned from anger and not blame, because it's more healthy that way too.
yeah,
And like you said, honestly, it's one mistake can change our life forever, right? And we're fortunate if we don't have a mistake, because we all make them, that can change our life in a very negative way. So I do like your approach, and I appreciate that. And I like all the things that you're doing. And, definitely with your movies, I like the name No Way Out, because from everything I remember that day, they said those individuals that was on those stairs, they were trapped, couldn't move, and I'm taking that's where you got the name No Way Out. It's like it
yeah.
was
It
stuck.
was, they said one of Dirk's friends. They said it wasn't no. Nah, I'm not going in, man. I'm forget about it. I'm not going in. There was no turning around and walking out. You were
Wow.
stuck. There were people, Chop, one of the people that were there that was with Dirk, he said there were people, like he mentions it, there were people with North Faces at the top saying one, two, three,
Push.
and the doors come this way.
Oh my
So
God.
they're pushing these people, men, women, and crushed them, because they were at the bottom of the staircase. And that's what happened. These people rushed in, and they didn't have a chance. One of the guys in the interview that I did with, his name was Ben. He said he went down low when they came. Some people could duck it, or you could jump up, and your legs would just be covered. But if
Right.
you this all of this covered with this crowd that's just moving forward, there's nothing you could do. Um, and then another thing, like, I don't, I could have been there. Any of us could have been there. So you count your blessings and run.
Mhm.
Like, it could have been me instead of Dirk, or it could have been someone else. So I think the reason I say that is because I think in the past I would say, man, I should have been there to help Dirk out, or I should have been there to do this and that. But it's just the approach I go now is just count your blessings. We got through it. I'm breathing. Let's do something positive to show that we have not forgotten these people at all. I definitely, the majority of people I went to college with, that, there's a lot of people calling me today like, yo, it's your time, Jay. Because, and I was like, yo, you told me to stop doing this story a long time ago. They were like, Jay, you still doing a city college thing, man? Come on. Now they're calling me saying, yo, you were right, kid. Like, yo, we got to keep that going. And I wasn't taking their advice. I mean, that was my answer. I stopped listening to your advice a long time ago.
Mm.
For my brother, if he was alive and it was me, he would have been going hard for me. So, and Dirk was a good guy. Like, he was like a real super big brother. Like, some little brothers are pests, and I probably was, but he would be the one that would say, Ma, I got invited to this party. I'll go, but can Jay go? Like,
Oh.
bring me, like this little brother, I'm 3 years younger,
Hmm.
always bring me to his parties and stuff. Like, we were together. Like, he would call me every day while he's at Hampton, just checking in, at the little payphone in the dorm. All I would come down there, and I had the time of my life on, this HBCU campus. Like, I just knew that a year later I was gonna be there, and we were gonna get an apartment, and I would have stayed. He had a 5-year major, so I would have been able to hang with him for a couple of years, and it just stopped. It was like, and I had to finish high school without him, like graduation and all of that. It's like, I got to do a movie. Unbelievable. I can't believe this just happened. And I didn't really get to talk to my dad about it a lot. He was so pissed. But my mother kept it going. She kept a smile on her face. She was very spiritual. She never blamed anyone. Anytime I would see Sean Combs, even the anger days, he would say, "How's your mother?"
Oh wow.
Like, he never. Another thing, his sister
Hmm.
graduated high school with my brother.
Wow.
They were in the yearbook, all that, like seniors at the same time.
Mm.
All their friends, they all know each other. Keisha Combs. So
Right.
his name was in that house after that event. When, she knew Dirk,
Right.
without a doubt. Um, he wasn't like the most popular, but he was on the basketball team, and they said, like, his friend said, she knew Dirk, of course. Like, you know. So it's just a small world, you know. We all grew up kind of like close to each other. My family's in Mount Vernon. I grew up in the Bronx, but my mother's sister, two of her sisters lived in Mount Vernon, and they brought her up here, and she lived in Mount Vernon. So it's only 4 miles from Mount Vernon. That's tough. He can say Harlem all he wants, but Mount Vernon.
So
Yeah,
I'm originally from the Bronx. Family, I'm from Mount Vernon, Third Avenue. So I know how big it is or how small it is, so whichever one you want to say, right? But I think it's nice that it's nice to hear, I guess, in some ways that because right now everything you hear about Pop Diddy, Brother Love, like it's a very sinister side. So it's nice to hear that he had this other side where he would ask you like, "How's your mom?" Um, so it's good to hear. But more importantly, go ahead.
um, she said he during the deposition. I don't know how phony it was, but she said he cried, and they were sitting together, and he
Mm,
cried on her shoulder.
wow.
Like, and a lot of people say he was acting and stuff, but come on, if he was young and 9 people, and you have to go to court to relive it, and then he knew Sonia. He gave her the ticket. That was Misa's like best friend,
Mm,
and he supposedly pulled Misa in, and she died with a boot mark in her face. Pulled her from the door, and she died. Like, you see Misa on the footage crying hysterically, and he's doing CPR on her like crazy. I got that on tape as well. So like covering up, or it's not covering up, but to go to the idea of me not really being angry or mad at anyone, it came really. I had to start thinking logically about anyone that would have to go through that, regardless of how bad they are or how greedy they were. No one wanted that on there.
I agree with you. That I would have to agree with, right? And like you said, when you're young and you have these great ideas, you don't know, but that thing was promoted highly on the radio at the time. I never forget, because I was still living in the Bronx at the time. The promotion was real heavy. It was where everybody wanted to go. If you was from the Bronx or wherever, you wanted to be at that game on that day. So, like you said, there's a lot of people that were responsible for that. But the more important part is I'm loving to see that you hold no anger in you, because that's where healing begins, right? If you can have some understanding, have some forgiveness, and have a heart about the situation. I love that you are keeping your brother's memory alive. With your projects and everything that you're doing. Tell me a little more because you said this is called tell me the name of it again. It's like the Six Train. Say the name of the documentary again.
Or the documentary is called "New No Way Out:
Okay.
The City College of New York Stampede Part One."
Okay.
Um, it's No Way Out, but then we did an episode called "No Way Out," which is a part of the Six Train to Parkchester limited series.
Okay.
Parkchester right here, and yeah, No Way Out.
Mm-hmm.
That's my piece. It's in the festivals right now. We have a few going on. It's just a very short version that I'm promoting right now.
Okay.
But we shot 49 minutes of our first episode. But I'm only giving about 12 minutes until we sell the whole project.
Sounds good. Smart. Okay. Beautiful. Nice. And so here you're saying so 9 people were killed and 29 were injured.
Yeah, that's Dirk and that's me. That was the summer before he passed away.
Okay.
We were in Harlem Week. We were on 125th Street right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Chop. Well, we can't see the other guys, but they were. One of them was with him that night at City College.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the documentary, or a clip from the documentary.
Okay. Nice. And this here.
That was the Dirk's funeral, and
Mm,
my friends told me to go outside because they did that to the wall behind my building in Parkchester.
nice.
So it was a lot of Dirk's name everywhere. Yeah, it was about time. I slept in that park the
Mm-mm.
on New Year's because it was the 28th, and my friend gave me a bottle of champagne. I threw it at that wall, and then I laid on the bench and stayed in there everybody was looking for me, but it was such a weird, first of the month, like first of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I you know, my family was like, "Oh no, find Jason." Like that was the main line everywhere. Find Jason. I just needed to be alone for a little while. But yeah, that it was like there's some benches in that park, that night. And that was his jacket I have on, the jacket he had on that night.
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
we bought he bought it and he had me try it on. We were like the same height.
Mm-hmm.
I was growing up, and he was like, "Yo, try this on, Jay." And he bought that the night before City College, but had
Wow.
me try it on. And I was fucking like, "Yo, I don't want your coat," which I really did, but you know, yeah, that's
You- and this is again your project, No Way Out, right?
yeah. The guy with the do rag, he's playing Dirk.
Okay.
His name is Quashon, and the other guy is playing me. He's playing the character Jules. So
Okay.
it's Dirk and Jules, and then Dirk's girlfriend that gives him the ticket is at the top. Those two,
Okay.
she gives him the city college tickets.
How did she do after the whole situation?
Um, I didn't speak to her much, but yeah, she was distraught a little bit. Dirk loved her, like he loved her, so like they really got along. I didn't like her that much at first, and then she God bless the dead, she passed away from COVID recently.
Oh,
We've always still been in touch. You know,
okay.
she was really nice. Like over the years, I kicked it with her, and it's just sad that that happened.
Right. And this right here we're seeing.
That was the documentaries. I did a doc back in '06, and we created this poster for that.
Okay.
Now we just use it for everything.
Okay.
We created this with the actual flyer, and then we made the middle just with in, introductions to I guess to just school people, let people know what happened, because
Mhm.
by 2006 no one was even thinking about City College anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it was like, what is this? I was teaching I had 4 after school programs in California, and kids didn't even, they were like, really making the band Diddy? You know? And I was like, yeah, this was 1991. 9 people were killed, and that's what this foundation's about. I was able to tell a younger audience about Dirk and all of the 9 people for 11 years in California, and I did some workshops here in New York, and I'm working with a company now, nonprofit, where I'm back doing the same thing. I'm able to tell a younger audience exactly what happened when they weren't even thought of.
Right.
Don't do this. Don't. And they like, really? He did that. He did. I bring up making the band because a lot of the kids, they
They
were
can
doing.
relate.
Hmm.
They
They
can,
were.
yeah, they can relate to that. Um, you ever thought about, because I believe, I'm not mistaken, like the Newark Museum, they have a theater in there. Maybe ever doing your premiere or something, like working with them. I guess once somebody picks up and buys your project, that would be a nice thing to ever do a premiere of your film or documentary over there at the Newark Museum. That would kind of be nice.
Yeah, I reached out to them because I help youth with disabilities, and I tried to get in touch with them because I have an artist. I just wanted to get a meeting with them. I couldn't get in touch with them. I'm right next to the symposium, or one of those. I'm very close to NJ Pack.
Okay.
I work over there, and I've been scheming a little bit, looking for a place. So I'll look. I won't give up
Don't
on.
give up. Don't give up. I think it's an important project, but I also think you got a really good message to people that are maybe trying to get over hurt, anger and pain. Because for some people, once they get stuck in that space, it is hard for them to get out. And it's definitely been a blessing, and I'm hoping for the subscribers too, just to hear that you're not in that space and that you have forgiven. So if you could like just the message, because I know you say you speak a lot to different people about how like when you're organizing an event, to maybe avoid these particular pitfalls or anything like that. If there's a message you can give to anybody out there that's kind of stuck because they're hurt, because there's so much violence that goes on in the world, and maybe they lost a loved one due to violence, like what would you say to them?
One thing that is like something that I really live by is even when I'm sick or anything, it always gets better. So
I like that.
it always gets better. I don't care what it is. Like if you're still breathing, it's gonna get better.
I
Just
like that.
through this. And I went through years. Like I was so pissed. And it's amazing because a lot of my friends from the time when they met me back in like the '90s, the early '90s, they couldn't get to me. Like I hated everyone just about. Like I was still approachable and happy at the parties and stuff, but if we conversate, I'm gonna bring up um, I'm gonna bring up City College.
Got you.
I had it
Understood.
like I used to have the flyers. I would have I used to make so many T-shirts. Like my whole living room in California was had tank tops and T-shirts. I would go to all the film festivals and give out. The first time DVDs came out, I had DVDs of all my projects. City College 9, City College. I had the first website, like the very beginning of the website. I had a citycollege9.com website. So, but those were you know, the shaky days. I didn't really understand yet what was
Hmm.
going on. But yeah, it always gets better. Get better.
Always gets better. There go a T-shirt for you. I like that a lot.
Mhm.
Always gets better. So, Jason, I'll always have, we do trending topics on my show, and I have some very loyal people that hang out with me every night. And if only if you don't mind, if they could, if you, I want to drop the link, to see if they want to come up and just say a word to you. So if
Come
you don't
on.
mind, all right, let me see if I could drop this link here. So to my loyals, if you out there, you want to come up and just say hi to Jason. Ask him a question. We won't hold you too long. I know you're busy, you got stuff to do. Um, but I just dropped the link, guys, and I just pinned it to the top. Does your brother ever come to you like in your dreams or?
Oh, someone asked me that, and when I was about 6 months, 7 months after Dirk passed, I was
Mhm.
in trouble. Like I was getting in trouble bad, like stuff that I shouldn't have been getting into, and I was actually in trouble, and he came to me, and he was like, I said, "Yo, Dirk," I tried to grab him up, and he pulled a gun out on me and said, "Yo, you messing up, man. You know, you got mad at me." And that was one of the times that I really realized, let me get my act together. Like,
Together.
not that bad, Jay. Like, what are you doing? I'm in the street doing crazy stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a time I'll never forget. That he told me to straighten it out.
And you got yourself together. That's Thank you for that. In my opinion, anything you want to say to Jason?
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. How long did it take you to necessarily get to the place where you at that you accepted it?
um, 10 years maybe. The '90s. Once I got out of the '90s, I was straight after the '90s. Probably 2002. About 2002, I'm 100% being honest. I was not happy about nothing, and then I really, you know, I finally started listening to my mother because she was such a sweet woman that never blamed anyone. She was smiling, and she said nobody woke up that day. I always repeat this and said, I'm gonna kill 9 people. I'm gonna just wipe everybody out. And she says that in the documentary. And so yeah, it took about 10 years.
Thank you. If anybody has a question, you can drop it in the chat if you have a question for Jason. Um, Also, we are going to the description of this video. I'm going to add the links to his work. And if you want to, Jason, you can share your social medias. They could follow you, and you can also say it now. But before you do that, I do see behind you, it looks like from either the train station, Parkchester sign here. Um, what is that about?
That is the project. And
Mm.
a loyal fan of mine, one of my friends, they saw that I was doing the series and they created that for me.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, and I always keep it. Um, but that's the name of the project, is pretty much Six Train to Parkchester.
Rochester.
We have a lot of scenes. Dirk was a graffiti artist.
Wow.
He came up. He idolized a guy named Eric Orr that, excuse me, came up with a lot of the first days of drawing on the train and all that stuff. And Dirk idolized him. He lived in our neighborhood, so there are scenes in the movie that kind of bring you back to those days of those train stations.
So art is kind of in your family, because you said you worked in a movie theater, and now here you are producing and creating film. And then your brother loved the graffiti, which is a form of art, right? So I thank you. I appreciate your truthfulness. She said, we need to be more patient with ourselves when we are grieving, and that is so true.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so true.
And no one like put me in a headlock and said, stop being mad, Jason. But my mother, she was the one, and like other people would just say, why are you still doing this project? And I would say, I am the only art person in my family. Everyone, is, business. My mother worked at Citibank, so she didn't understand until I won some film festivals, and I got a scholarship to Clark. Like, they gave me a partial scholarship for a film I did called Down for Whatever, and that's when my mother woke up and said, "Oh, okay,
We got something here."
you got talent." Because I didn't, I put myself through Clark, through college.
Nice.
She was really proud of that, but no one was like adamant about me not showing as much love as I could to Dirk. And they may have mumbled it or said something negative to other people, but I feel, according to like that comment, felt like people were supportive, or very supportive in the early days, regardless of how weird it may have sounded, especially to do a movie. Like, no one was, I was working in the movie theater when Spike Lee came out with Do the Right Thing. So I'm aging myself, but he and then he went to Morehouse, and I was at Clark, and I met him, and we had the same teacher. So like art and film and all that stuff that's me, and that will probably never die.
Very nice. I love it. If you had the opportunity to say something to your brother now, what would you say?
I got you. I got you. Chill. I'll be there one day. But yeah, I got you. I love you. Uh, I remember him saying to me and others that I had a mind of my own. so he couldn't really tell me what to do, you know, and he figured me out early. Like I was not, a person that really was a follower, or something like that. Like if Dirk said this, so I would say thank you for understanding who I was, and I got this. Um, and it's all positive. Another thing about these projects, like Six Trains,
Mm-hmm.
Dirk found Dirk's notebook, and he wrote. He's a writer of some of these episodes.
Mm.
So much stuff, and his writing is crazy. But this is some of his work.
Wow.
Even this last project, the project I just did, No Way Out. One of the episodes. This is him.
Wow.
know, he was a great writer, and I went through his notebooks. Of course, my mother passed away. I had to clean her stuff out, but I got the chance to find like some jewels, and that's what motivated me to even write this series. And because I wrote this over and over, I've written this since the '90s, but to bring it up to date to today because um, I've learned so much, and being patient really works sometimes. I've learned that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's never a wrong time.
Yeah. Tanya, thank you so much for your comments. She said, I love the fact that you know it gets better. Thank you for your transparency and sharing your brother's story and yours as well. Praying for you as you continue to keep your brother's legacy alive. Thank you, Tanya. That was very sweet.
Thank you. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 years ago, I probably would have been totally different. Probably would have been like, yeah, or let's say 20 years ago, man, forget him, forget these people, this, that, and that. Like, I think there's a clip of me on. I was working at Usher's camp. Usher, he had a camp called Nula, and I showed my video to the kids, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Because I was like, "This," I think I cursed, and they kicked me out the camp. Like I was teaching them film and stuff, but all of them reached out to me, and they were in like high school. They were finding me online, like, "I want to know about that project, this and that." But today, I probably would have, like this type of video. Um, wouldn't have gotten me kicked out of the camp.
Right.
The lady say, "Yo, you're coming back next year. We want you here, Jason. You're a great teacher for these kids. That they never call me back."
time, right? So look at what time has done for you. And definitely wishing you well on all of your projects and everything that you're doing, and to keep your brother's memory alive. So what would you like to say to the people? What do you want everybody to know just about, just that day, your brother, everything that you're doing, and what do you want to accomplish with this?
Um, just pay attention to some of the things that are coming out, and I feel like the city college situation kind of opened up a lot of people's eyes and ears and made them realize it's not that serious. The people who are pushing, you actually kill people. And then the money thing, we all can get the money. We can get to it. It can come. It will come.
Yes, it will.
Stay on top of your game, but you can't, you know, do it to the extent that people are dying or are in harm.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the footage, you look at anything in regard to in regard to my documentary, you will see that it was a mess. It was just like there was a whole full gym. The gym was filled to the rim and they're playing basketball, but then there's like mini triages going on, and then there's still people outside pushing to get in. Someone had a video camera and they sold their tape, but just to get into this mess, and then and organize. If you're gonna do an event, it can work, but
Yeah.
organize. Like at that time, and this is the reason why I wanted to do the celebrity version because LL was there and Tyson was there, a couple of people, but they came through the front door. And this is that time when a lot of the celebrities weren't really um, millionaires yet.
Right.
They were tangible. They were getting out of cabs, not a lot of limos, or they were getting out of nice, a nice Honda or a nice, you know, car service or whatever. But they were getting out, walking out nice and smooth. They were there. They're going through the front door. To be on the side, on the low, pulling them in, that's gonna excite the crowd.
Yeah.
See, LL was huge back then. Like
Yes.
you see him, guys and girls, like yo, L, and then you don't get in, like they shut it down, and you just walk, LL or Heavy D or whoever just walk down.
You physically know all of these people are actually in there. And then you have a ticket. It's one thing if you just came down there, but you have a ticket. Okay, so they're asking me, tell again, what platform is the documentary on?
Oh, it's on Vimeo. Vimeo. Vimeo on demand. Let me see. Can I put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Okay.
And I would definitely update the description so that the people know and they can go there and look for it.
Okay.
So that everyone can support.
Yeah, it's Vimeo on demand. It's the City College non-story. Let me see. I have it. Oh, I didn't even see the chat. It's popping. Yeah, you got it going on.
Well, I'm glad I spoke to you because the New York Post article was different. Oh, Brown Eyes, thank you. She said she will support. But if I never spoke to you, I wouldn't have understood your perspective and that you are on a totally different mindset than what it read like in the article. So I appreciate you coming through and us having an opportunity to hear from you out of your own mouth that healing has come. And that's how people are going to survive. You got to live in the now. And like you said, like your mother said, no one woke up that day and wanted that tragedy to happen. They actually just wanted to have a good fun event. And in the promotion, unfortunately, it went well, but it didn't go well because it was oversold and people lost their lives. And I think it was unfortunately a perfect storm, in a so to speak, because of that staircase and the way it was set up. It was no way out because, like you said, the doors have to come this way. So it's not even like if they open the door, it will go that way. So that means you're crushing the people, even if you did open the door.
And you didn't even know. Like,
right.
Issues with, you'll see it in the documentary. Someone closed the door. One door was open when they first walked in, and they closed it, and then the crowd ran in. So Dirk and everyone. So I did a play. I wrote a play that I did in LA, another one, and I did a thing on stage with all 9 people, and I made it where they all just met, and this is just before they died. So can you imagine, like 20, 30 people are in the staircase just waiting for the door for them to open the door, and then 800 people start running down those steps, and then they start pushing. So I wrote so many versions of this, but that was another one that it just made me think, like, they may have met each other. Dirk might have got her number, or she might have got his number. Like something, like everyone might have been kicking it. Like even in one of my my movie, I made it where they pass each other in the train station. Some of the people that get stuck.
Wow.
They're coming from downtown, and some others are coming from uptown, and then they all get to City College at the same time, and they start talking. One guy's trying to talk to her. She's like, "Nah, I'm good." And then then they find themselves together in that staircase,
Wow.
for the last moments, and crying and help me, and but they just kind of met but didn't meet, and now they're both almost dying.
Yeah.
So I've created so many things about this for years. I've had meetings at Rockefeller back in 2000, and they were like, "Did you speak to Sean? I mean, did you speak to Puff about this?" And with the script is, I had just graduated college. I was like, "Yo, this script is too big." Warner Brothers, I was on the film, at these film festivals talking to everybody, and no one hit me back about it. But
Wow.
that same day, I was giving out T-shirts, and Russell Simmons and Sean were there that day, and I was giving out all these T-shirts. And when I worked on Def Comedy Jam, and I was wearing the T-shirt with all their pictures on it, and I saw even Russell Simmons like, like, because I used to have T-shirts, and I would have everyone's picture on it. And I'm
Wow.
working on set. I'm in the industry. I've been in the industry for a long time.
Okay.
That kind of I don't know. The president of Bad Boy told me that there's no coincidence that your project isn't out yet, because I've done nothing else but industry
Right.
movie stuff. I'm a master editor, proficient. I've worked on a BET award several times. I was an editor for them, and and I never was shy about talking about it or asking for help. And it was just wasn't the right time. No one wanted to touch it. Like, I have actor friends that I would say, "Yo, listen, I gave this, Nia Long had the first script. I gave it to
Wow.
her way back. Like, and she's good people. It's like, she was not against it. I just need to get it together. But she read it when typed on a it was typed on a typewriter. Like, I didn't even have copies of it. It was a straight up. I don't know if kids even know what a typewriter is.
Typewriter, word processor. The other day, I ran into a payphone. I'm like, do y'all even know what this is? Like, yeah, wow. You know what? In due time, and it's gonna come, and I'm so glad you stopped by here first. Because your time will come. Your time will come. I think it's a good project to put out there, and I think it would be a great story for everyone to see, just to give life to a lot of people. They hear about this situation as a result of Puffy being so popular or whatever, but what they don't hear about is the individuals that lost their lives. They hear about the situation, they hear about the game, but they don't know about the people that actually lost their lives. So I want to thank you. I don't want to hold you forever. um, I want to thank you for coming through. I truly appreciate you. And I hope, like, when you do your stuff and everything is really out there, we will definitely support you on this Vimo. We'll go and look at it and watch and see. And then when everything comes out, we will definitely just send me an email, and we will definitely support. And I will update, like I told everybody in the description of this video, I will update it with all your information.
Okay.
Somebody said, how do we find Vimo?
Oh no, here I go. I just found the link, so I'm gonna put it in the chat now.
Okay, good.
I don't know how to get back to. Wait 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
You got it?
Trying to get back to the chat. Here we go. I'm gonna put it in now. There it is. Yeah, it's Vimeo. It's not letting me leave them.
It's not. Let me see what I can do. I think because you had sent. Trying to see. Oh wait, I might. Let me see. I might copy. I might be able to do it. Let me see what I got here. I think I did it.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Did I do the right thing here? Is that the link?
Let me see.
I put it on the screen. Can you see on the screen?
Okay, I'm going back.
Video.com on demand, City College 9. Is that the one you wanted me to? Okay. All right, guys. So I put it in the chat, and I will definitely update the description of the video to put it in there. So everybody support Jason. And we want to thank everybody. Just do a little thank you in the chat there for Jason coming through, sharing his story. Again, of course, condolences to your brother Dirk and all of the other individuals, that lost their life. Okay, they said it's there. Okay, you're welcome. That lost their life back in 1991, right? Back in 1991.
91 City College. But yeah, check it out. And the 6th Train to Parkchester is a series coming. It's pretty cool. It's cool. I like it.
All right. I know that's right. Tell them you like your own work. And listen, we will definitely support. So email me anytime. Let me keep me updated, and I will definitely let all of my subscribers, I will keep them updated, and everybody saying thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. We truly, truly appreciate you. Had a good time chatting with you tonight, and come through anytime, Jason. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Take care. You too. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here and sharing this moment with us. Don't forget, please go and support Jason. If you did not hit the like button coming in, hit the like button going out. And I'll see y'all next time. Good night and goodbye, everybody.